Hello there ladies and gentlemen, I am PrettyTAF and welcome to this cSGO AK47 weapon guide. In this guide I will go over all the facts and stats like its damage, stats, spread, the pros and cons and more. The AK47 is the iconic go-to weapon for the T side in cSGO. With its high damage and potential to one-tap armoured opponents with a skilled hand, it makes it a true nightmare in the hands of a skilled player for the CT side. It's cheap, high damage and above all else lethal. Officially known as the Mikhael Kalashnikov, the gas-operated rifle holds 30 rounds in its classic banana mag and fires the Soviet 7.61 39mm cartridge. A sizable cartridge which does major damage if fragmenting inside the target, but does little damage when passing through it if it doesn't adjust its trajectory in any way. It has since been developed into 13 different variants of the weapon for both military and police usage, which is used by over 70 nations worldwide. In CSGO, the AK costs $2,700 and gives the player $150 for a kill in casual and $300 per kill in competitive, meaning that if you buy the AK, it will take you 9 kills to recover the cost of the weapon. Being that it's so cheap for the terrorists to buy, it's often a staple choice for the T side in casual and competitive play, and because of its superior damage in its class, it's often sought after by the CT players in lieu of their M4A4s. The AK takes 1 second to deploy, tying it in first class with the FAMAS and the SG553. It takes 1.17 seconds to insert a new magazine, making it the second fastest in class for that, and it takes 2.43 seconds to be ready to fire during a full reload, making it the fastest ready fire delay in class. The AK also has a movement speed of 215 units per second, making it comparable to the speed of the auto snipers like the SCAR 20 and the G3 SG1. Its high damage, fast reload time and affordability makes it an ideal weapon for assaulting positions and for pulling off potentially risky plays. The AK has an armour penetration of 77.5%, meaning that it can make quick work of enemies who have armour and also cover. With its base damage and decent rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute, the AK does a damage of 360 damage per second, which is 7 damage lower than its CT counterpart the M4A4, which has a damage per second of 367. The high armour penetration also means that the AK doesn't lose too much damage when attacking an armoured opponent. An extremely deadly weapon on all distances, this weapon will allow you to kill any opponent with one headshot, regardless of whether he has a helmet or not. The exact damage the AK deals to an enemy can be shown here. As you can see from the dummies on screen, to non-armoured opponents the AK deals 143 damage to the head, which is an insta-kill, 35 to the chest and arms, 44 to the stomach, and 26 on the legs. To an armoured opponent, the AK deals 111 damage to the head, another insta-kill, 27 to the chest and arms, 34 to the stomach, and 26 damage again to the legs, meaning it will take around 3 to 4 bullets to kill an opponent on average regardless of armour. Across the board, the AK takes 4 rounds at any range to secure a kill. With a range modifier of 0.980, the AK has a very minor damage drop when it comes to range. Here are some charts which will help demonstrate the drop-off versus range quite clearly. As you can see, the AK against an opponent with no armour deals just below 36 damage, which is its base damage, and declines by 0.14 damage per 2.54 meters, until we get to 50.8 meters when it increases by a marginal amount. So with this information we know the AK to be a 4-shot kill regardless. It's the same story versus an armoured opponent. The starting damage is 27.79, which drops off by 0.11 damage per 2.54 meters. Which means that at 63.5 meters it's a 4-shot kill, and then when you measure it to 76.2 meters it's a 5-shot kill. So the damage decline is minor at best, and nothing that will make much of a difference to a player who knows how to use the AK effectively. The uncontrolled spray of the AK follows the classic T pattern to which it sticks to. The first few shots will hit around a crosshair, from the 4th to the 8th shot the recoil will climb, and then it goes horizontally to the right and then the same across to the left. To control the spray of the weapon you have to counter the T pattern with your mouse. How it feels on my hand when I control the recoil is when I fire, I drag the mouse down and to the left slightly, and then when I know around a 15th-ish round has been fired, I drag it from the left to the right and across and do like a little wiggle with the mouse. You'll probably notice it in my spray efforts on the screen. Try to mimic the control pattern you see on screen and you will find it easy to perform. Statistically, the spray will give us a good indication as to how the weapon behaves. The running spread of the AK is 175.06, making it inaccurate when moving and shooting. Its standing spread is 6.41, and its most accurate is its crouching spread, coming in at 4.81. With a recoil magnitude of 30, we can see the AK likes to kick like a mule when firing. In full auto fire, there is an additional 0.60 worth of recoil added during prolonged fire, so the AK is best used as a burst weapon in most cases, or a single shot, one tap weapon when you go for those headshots with its quick recoil recovery time. When it comes to the pros and cons, the pros are it has high damage, predictable recoil, and its potential for one tap kills. On the downside, it's inaccurate if you're inexperienced with the recoil pattern, it's often picked up by the CT players for power, and it's very annoying when in the hands of an aimbot hacker. In conclusion, the AK has always been a fan favourite and an iconic weapon in games. Its high damage and high recoil make it a deadly weapon all round, and will most likely be featured in all future iterations of Counter-Strike. Its affordability makes it a viable option for most rounds on the T side, and the whole team with AKs is a force to be reckoned with. And that being said, ladies and gents, brings us to the end of my video. I have tried to cram so much useful information into the video to give you the best chance of knowing all there is, and to hopefully help you master the weapon. I have been PrettyTAF, leave a like and sub as always. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time where we delve into everything you need to know about the staple iconic CT rifle equivalent to the AK, the M4A4. Right, I'm off, see you in a bit, bye bye.